What's going on, everybody? If you're seeing this page, that means the official Torian Rain Reloaded merch store is now available. To get access to the store, make sure you go ahead and click the store tab on my YouTube channel. From there, you will be able to see all the merch that is available. We have mugs, shirts, hoodies, joggers, and so much more to come. All original designs made by yours truly, Torian Rain Reloaded. Now go ahead and get your merch today, and you can feel nothing in style.
The use of pronouns.
It's those kids who are spewing this anti-Semitic hate that have no idea if they stepped foot in an Islamic country. These people who want us to call them they, them, or whatever they want us to call them, which I have respectfully really made a point of doing. Like, be whoever you want to be. It's those people that will be the first people beheaded and their heads played with a soccer ball, like a soccer ball on the field. You know, there was a film being shown by this black lesbian club on Columbia campus, and they put signs up that said "No Jews allowed." And as someone who plays a lesbian journalist on the morning show, I'm more offended by it as a lesbian than I am as a Jew, to be honest with you, because I want to say to them, you fucking idiots. You don't exist. Like, you're even lower than the Jews. A, you're black, and B, you're gay. And you're turning your back against the people who support you?
So y'all just heard that rather extremely anti-black narrative from this woman by the name of Julianna Margulies, who is an actress. Apparently she's on this show called The Good Wife. I've actually heard of that show, never saw one episode. It never appealed to me, but I knew that there were some people that did watch it, and it did have a pretty good run before its cancellation. And she went on this tirade on this podcast called The Back Room with Andy Ostroy. Now, I think this might be her podcast. I'm not entirely sure if it isn't, but nowadays a lot of people got podcasts. It is what it is. But she went on there and she went on this very staunch anti-black narrative where she's basically trying to call out black people because we're not standing and supporting them or next to them. And here she goes doing exactly what Michael Rappaport did and saying and trying to shame us. Like, literally, they're trying to guilt trip and shame us into aligning with them. This is why I tell people, don't ask my opinion about this. I have no dog in this fight. This is why when all of this first kicked off back in October, we told as many black people as possible, do not get wrapped up in this, because we knew that this would happen. You will have people coming at you from either side. But what I've noticed is most of the anguish and the vitriol is coming from a particular side. People like your Julianna Margulies or your Michael Rappaports and anyone else with the sombrerito. Shout out to Rob for the terminology. Their vitriol towards black people in particular is very, very hate-filled, as you can hear with what she just said. Y'all listen to what she said. Y'all heard what she said right there. Now, this was actually pulled. I think someone had posted this up on like TikTok or something. They do some edits in there. Apparently, she wasn't being completely truthful and honest with what she was saying, or she was only telling half truths. Apparently, at this event at Columbia University, she tried to make it seem like it was black lesbians that told them that they weren't allowed or were invited to this particular event. But based on what was posted in the clip within the podcast audio, it didn't label it as a particular race. It just said Columbia University said that they weren't invited or something along those lines. It didn't say black lesbians said they couldn't come. So she threw that out there. So she lied. Then she lied again because apparently on this show, she played someone in the academy in Hall L. And then she tries to say as a lesbian, but the thing is, she plays one on the show. She's not that way in real life, but she tried to make it seem like she was one in real life. So she was telling a lot of half truths, but in a lot of whole lies in just that one part right there to try to get her point across, whatever point that was. And her only point was, I'm gonna be as anti-black as I possibly can. And peep what she said at the end. She says, she calls black people effing idiots and said, we are lower than them and we do not exist. I want y'all to mark a pin in that. She's not the only one that feels that way, but she said it out loud. This must be a sector or a time of exposure, because this is the third video in a row that I recorded today, and I'm recording this on November 30th, 2023, where I've talked about two other people before her where they have literally told you their disdain for black people very outwardly. And these are people who have big platforms. Well, some platforms are bigger than others, but they're well known. I'll put it that way. Where they feel like they are in a position where they are untouchable. So they're going to say these things and it won't get any backlash. Now she's a part of that particular group. She's a part of that sector. You knew what I'm talking about. So she feels very comfortable saying that. And of course she had to beat down on the particular group that she knows if we was to push back, which we definitely should, that nothing will happen to her. And I find it very interesting that you have a lot of people out there that love to claim that black people are the most anti-Semitic, this and that, when I kid you not, before I even decided to record this video, it was a story posted into my Discord right before this one, where it said that I believe in New York, there was a Jewish boy who got attacked by 3 teenagers. All 3 of those teenagers were non-black. One of them was Asian, one of them was south of the border, and I don't know what the other one was, but they weren't black because they have all their faces on surveillance. Like you can probably see it right there because I found like the news article, so you can see their pictures right there in the headline. But they love to say that we are the ones going out there and attacking them and doing all this, that, and the third. What it really is that they have to make black people the face of anti-everything or anti-anybody. Because when you are considered a lower group on the totem pole or in the class or in the system, that makes it so easy for them to really beat down on you, and then other groups get ideas and they do the same thing. Like I said, we have to start pushing back against the narratives that they keep putting out there about us, because these are nothing but a bunch of lies. And these are the same people that say that they want us to be their allies and everything like that, and then of course they'll try to throw the other guilt trip in there as well, as far as saying, oh well, we helped y'all during the civil rights movement and this is how you repay us, this, that, and the third. Listen, like I said in my video, in my stream about Michael Rappaport, I don't think that, and I'm just speculating because I wasn't there, but I don't think our ancestors who was around during that time asked for your assistance. 9 times out of 10, you probably did what you always do: insert yourself into the position so you can look like the white savior. And the truth be told, the same people that want us to align with them and claim that they did this, that, and the third for them and we should be grateful and helping them are some of the same ones that got us in this mess in the first place. Let's talk about it. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the role they played in the position that black people as a collective, especially black Americans, are in today. They don't want to talk about that. They want to sit up on their high horse. They want to sit on their pedestal, sit on their so-called throne and look down on us like we're peasants. And now that we're calling it out, now we're anti this and anti that. Notice whenever black people, specifically us, calls out anything with anti-black hate attached to it, it's considered as complaining, it's considered as victimhood, it's considered as the bastardized version of woke, and it's considered anti everything else. How dare you call out when people oppress you? How dare you call out anti-black hate? How dare you demand reparations? How dare you demand an anti-hate crime bill specifically for your people? Whenever we try to do something collectively for ourselves as a group, and we defend ourselves, and we saying we're doing for self, everyone else is on the back burner for right now, or for a long while, if you ask me, then we're being divisive. We're being segregationist. Isn't that funny? Because that's the same thing they did years ago. Quiet as it's kept, many of them still do it now. Many of them probably hate the fact that they got to go to work and see a black person there, and don't let that black person be their boss. I've heard horror stories about that. They got the whole world literally at their feet, and they still mad at the people that they feel are lower than them. Make it make sense. I always say black people are the trendsetters of the world. Everyone takes a cue from us, even down to our oppression. How is it a group of people who has literally in all four corners of the earth done what they done to various groups of people, but especially to us, have the nerve to get up, the audacity to get up there and say the things that they say about us with a straight face, and then expect us to align with them? Are you kidding me? That is the definition of insanity. And I don't know about you, but I am a very, very sound mind and sane individual. So to Juliana, what you can take whatever it is that you just said right here and shove it up your crevice. And to anybody else who feels the same way, they can do the exact same thing. It is high time that we as black people really start calling this behavior out. Harvey says it all the time on his channel, and he is 110,000% correct with that narrative. We cannot hold our punches anymore. We have to push back somehow, some way, and no time like the present, as far as I'm concerned. So I have to throw this added piece of information in there where, and shout out to Harvey, because if he didn't talk about this, I wouldn't have seen it. Apparently, Juliana has given an apology pertaining to the words that she said. Let me just tell you right now, do not fall for the bullshit. Do not fall for any type of so-called apology that this woman is giving. She's probably most likely doing this because of the backlash that she's been receiving from people, and rightfully so, from what she has said. Or maybe a publicist told her to give this apology. For all we know, her publicist probably was the one that did the apology, and most likely didn't even come from her. And I'm willing to bet she probably didn't even give this apology in the same format as she did when she did the scolding, which was on a podcast. She probably typed something up or put something out there on social media. So with that being said, it still doesn't hold any weight, because your tone and vitriol was very, very vocal, whereas your so-called apology has no sound at all. So we don't know how you actually feel, but actually we do. So again, this apology that she gave, you know, she's not apologizing to people who are in the academy, particularly those who are black. And then she also tries to apologize to black people for basically saying that we were brainwashed to dislike people of that group. And it's just crazy that they always try to tell us that we need to not dwell in victimhood and all types of stuff, when lately, for the last few months, even before what happened in October, they've been dwelling literally in that. Think about what Charlie Kirk has been saying when they saying that, you know, what white people or white men are basically, in so many terms, not getting the attention that they once did, that they're no longer censored anymore. Like they're being passed over, or they're being looked over for jobs and opportunities. And I'm like, my goodness, when you wake up in the morning, Dub S is still going to be there. My goodness. But they want everybody to just kind of bow and grovel at their feet whenever they get a cold. I'm sorry, but that's just not how the world works. At least not anymore. And they are very, very upset and pissed about that. Well, I don't know what to tell them. Grow the fuck up. That's what I can tell you. But one thing that I found to be absolutely ridiculous out of a lot of the things that she said was this part right here on your screen. That this is a quote from her when Variety picked up this story and put it out there, because again, what y'all heard, it was only a small snippet. It wasn't the entire thing. So this part wasn't in here. When she said, I'm the first person to march for Black Lives Matter. When that happened to George Floyd, I put a black screen on my Instagram. Like, I ran to support my black brothers and sisters, she said. If y'all know what she's talking about, was when a lot of black people, or people in general, put a black screen up basically in support. It was like a blackout type of thing that people did. They put a black screen up on an Instagram page. They did it on their Facebook. People did it on Twitter. It was pretty much everywhere. But the thing is, everybody did it. She made it seem like her putting up the black screen meant her standing so-called in solidarity, or her doing something extremely noble, when it was something that everyone was doing that started off on social media. And that her saying this somehow means that we should be aligning ourselves with her. This right here is beneath the bare minimum, if you ask me. Like, is she for real? Apparently, clearly she is. I thought this, when I first heard her say this, when I saw this, I laughed. I'll admit, I chuckled, not because it's funny, but because of how ridiculous she is. She actually thought that doing something like this, which again was, in my opinion, beneath bare minimum, was somehow some grandiose stand-up act of being in solidarity. That's not how any of this works. But this right here was probably as far as she went anyway. Honestly, this was most likely as far as she went when it came to everything dealing with George Floyd back in 2020. Was put up a black screen. Anybody, any and everybody had the option to do that. One, that doesn't cost anything to do. You just go ahead and take a picture of a dark space, put it up on your social media, boom, there's your black screen. Or just find a picture of a black square and put it up on your social media. That's it. That's nothing. Anybody and everybody could have did that. That doesn't affect change. That doesn't do anything. But in her mind, as small as it is, assuming she has one to begin with, that was supposed to somehow end police brutality. That was supposed to end white supremacy. Or better yet, maybe she thought her putting up her black screen was going to bring George Floyd back. Maybe that's what she thought. Maybe in Juliana's little pea brain, that's what she thought was going to happen. Let me just go ahead and put up my black screen, and I'm going to have the best black screen out of everybody. Even though everybody else is doing it, my black screen is going to stand out the most. And mine is going to be the one that, people are going to really pay attention to. If she don't go sit down somewhere with this BS,